Is this going to be a reason why it will be a good idea to send those 60 cars into virtually every major city as they roll this out, looking for the right way to ingress and egress the In-N-Out burger, the right way to make a decision with regard to that hotel? The right way, there's all these little nuances. Now, I was just in San Diego, actually leaving in a few minutes to go to San Diego. But I was just in San Diego a few weeks ago, and it really shocked me at how good it was at getting into a little strip mall where I wanted to go to an IHOP.
Yeah.
And it found the right entrance, not the wrong entrance. I mean, and it was a complicated situation. But then on leaving, it completely blew it. And it was complicated. It was a very complicated exit.
Yeah, I mean, part of that,
A human probably would have blown it most of the time.
yeah, I think it's a two-part answer. That part of it is the car's software, but a lot of it is the platform in the cloud, making decisions for the car as to what to do.
Mm-hmm.
But to your point, there are many traverse, drop-off points that require strange traversals that are not obvious. And, while legal and the car's FSD could manage through that, it would be like, imagine taking a left into a shopping center at the first entrance where everyone knows it's insane. Like, you wait 20 minutes to get that left done.
Right.
And if you just go up another quarter mile and you take, or whatever, half a mile or third of a mile, whatever, that, you take that left and it's an easy thing because you have a signal or something, So while it's legal to get into the left-hand turn lane, it's stupid.
Yeah, yeah.
And the car itself, I don't think there's really any specific part of the FSD platform that is learning on that basis. I think that is something very different, and I think it's mostly, what now? How could Tesla figure that out on its own without reporting? It could probably pull the data, right? So what do we have here? We have a circumstance where the car goes into a left-hand turn lane, and they may start pulling timing stats on that,
Mm-hmm.
right? So they say car got in the left-hand lane under a minute or under 30 seconds to get through that turn. We don't care. But if that were to proceed on to a minute and a half, we're going to look at that situation.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe they have some. I've written about this idea of micro geofencing,
Mm-hmm.
and the concept is that the car. I believe this is happening right now on the ground in Austin with Robotaxi, and people are not aware of it.
Yeah.
I believe that the cars are geofenced out of very, very specific, minute locations, particular turns,
Right.
Particular one-way streets, maybe, not down south or whatever the main drag there is, or and they're able to put those geofences in play, and can pull them as well.
Yeah.
Right. I lost your video there.
Yeah, I'm back.
Okay. Yeah. So I mean, imagine that's a very transparent thing to the riders
Sure.
for the most part, unless they wonder why the car went 3 blocks to take a left and it didn't go down a certain street. And it doesn't perceive that or they don't perceive it ever does. And that's probably because that street's geofenced off, and the Tesla just determined it's silly to go that way.
Oh yeah, Waymo definitely does this.
Yes.
And even I've had Uber drivers who are making those kind of decisions. So, and in fact, the car is as we drive now, I've seen my car make decisions that I wouldn't have made, but that were just safer. And I think that's 100% smart.
Yeah, and you'll see that as the platform matures, you'll see that happening dynamically in the system,
Yeah.
so that it'll avoid trafficked roads or developing situations.
Right.
I mean, I saw one where Robotaxi had to take a right through a sea of bicycles that were running. Did you see that video? It was,
I did, yes.
yeah, and someone posted how amazing the car didn't try to merge into the bikes, and I'm thinking to myself, I don't know if it knew that.
Yeah,
I think it possibly got lucky and pulled up ahead to where, there was a police officer guiding like kind of the head of that set of bikes. I mean, there were like 300 bikes.
right.
Okay. And then it just found typical cars and it got in and it took a right and everybody was praising it. And maybe there is already train logic there, right? But that's an example that I think it learns to mature that over time. It
Yeah.
says, I'm not going to, because what would tell the car? Imagine that you had 300 bikes sitting there and there's a brake.
Yeah.
Like enough
Yeah,
where the
yeah,
car could get in. We wouldn't pull into that brake, right?
Right.
We would either go ahead or wait from behind. We wouldn't do that. There's some drivers that would. But Robotaxi probably would. It's not really necessarily trained to avoid a sea of bicycles like that.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, and depending on how big the brake is, it might, yeah, absolutely potential for that. Now, again, these are such edge cases. They're so
right.
unusual.
But you know what's crazy? They're there.
Yeah, they're there.
I mean,
Well,
like,
there's a Waymo video out there where the Waymo joined the parade. I mean, it just drove right into a parade, like a wacko human that, lost their mind. It just, and people are getting around it, trying to stand in front of it to keep it.
I think that's why a lot of people, I think that's why a lot of people that have some technical know-how, meaning that the folks that don't have any technical know-how will say humans are better than robots. We make better decisions. Okay, great. But I think people who have some technical, I think that's why they think FSD is in fact a very hard problem, because they see that very long tail of emergent situations in the field. Mm-hmm. And you're like, how would you have ever seen that? And how does a human they think has some kind of intrinsic machine logic that says, oh, I wouldn't break into that.
Right.